Hello. So we are getting ready for our webinar. I will give it a few more minutes to see if someone wants to join in. We have one more minute to go. Mic testing, 1, 2, 3. Mic testing, 1, 2, 3. Welcome to this webinar about first time home buyer. That's my next webinar that's coming up. So today I would like to talk about my second unit renovation program by region of Peel. So this webinar was a result of watching so many videos on TikTok where many professionals were promoting only half of the information. I thought of expanding it a bit more so that before you get misled by half information, you are able to make your own decision. Is this program for you or not? It is a very critical point. Is this really a program you want to go with, or this is not for you? So in this webinar, I would like to share a presentation. And in this presentation, we'll be talking about how the entire program plays out. I want to give a disclaimer here. This is Region of Peel program. The information that is being presented here has been picked up from Region of Peel website. It has only been organized to make it easily understandable. But if you want, you can Google up my second unit renovation program and you will find the links. So I just categorized it just to make it better and more helpful. So what this program entails, this is our agenda that we're going to talk about today. Introduction to Peel's initiative to prevent homelessness. Peel has a program. It's a 10-year program which has some strategic plans to make sure in region of Peel, homelessness can be avoided and affordable housing can be provided. We'll talk a bit about this program, and we'll talk about the second unit renovation loan program, or my second unit renovation program. And then we'll talk about what second unit actually means under this program. And eligibility. Are you eligible for this program? Paying back the loan. It is a loan for a particular length of period before it is waived. So what are the conditions of payment? The terms of the loan, requirements you must fulfill in order to avail this loan. Table to calculate eligible home values. This is a very important table. You must understand it. How your eligibility will be calculated based on your home values. And then there is a table for rent allowed. You cannot charge any rent over that amount mentioned. And then how the lien would work on your property title, and mandatory training that you are expected to go through. There is a set of questions that you will respond to in a quiz. When you pass that quiz, only then you will move further on this program. And then I have also included an orientation video that will guide you about the training modules. Then, of course, there are some question session. Answer questions. We'll take over that. So let's begin the program. Spiel Housing and Homelessness Plan is a 10-year program. It is kind of renewal of their 2013 program. They renewed it in 2018, still going on. And it has 5 strategic plans under it. One of them is building new affordable housing. This is one aspect of it. The second is incentives for others to build affordable housing. We will not be touching these two here. And then the third is transforming Peel housing service. And the fourth is optimizing existing stock. This is something that we are going to talk about in the whole presentation. And the fifth one is increasing supportive housing. We can take these one by one at a future date, but today my focus is only on optimizing existing stock, under which my second unit renovation program actually falls. The private stock strategy. There are houses, private houses, and this strategy of Peel housing and homelessness plan wants to address that component. They want to promote this idea among homeowners that if you build or renovate your existing second unit, Region of Peel would pay you X dollars over a particular length of period, after which it will be taken down. So private stock strategy deals with my second unit renovation program. If you have any question, feel free to stop me and ask me. So this is the program, but I want to tell you at this moment, due to pandemic, they have put the program on hold. But if you want to take benefit of this program, you can still apply and get in queue. Let's talk about the program. It was launched in October 2020. It provides for a forgivable loan. We'll talk about what a forgivable loan is. And this program is designed to help homeowners create more affordable rental units. I put rental units in bold because that is the bottom line of the whole plan, to help homeowners create more affordable rental unit. Forgive me for my little grammatical errors. Moving down, and it provides $20,000 for renovating your existing second unit. Right? In forgivable loan, it can also go up to $30,000 under certain circumstances. The program does not apply to constructing a new second unit in a home. So if you are being misled that this $20,000 you can utilize to create your second unit, this is not right. This program only renovates existing second units in the property. Second units, what are those second units? We'll be talking about them very shortly. A second unit is described as living space within an existing home that is separate, and it includes a kitchen, a bathroom, and that can be used for rental purposes. Of course, it has to have a sleeping area as well. So kitchen, bathroom, and sleeping area that can be utilized for rental purposes. If your unit doesn't have these, it is not fit for the program. You do not have to move forward. Alrighty, because the program entails a lengthy approval process. So make sure you meet the obligations of this program. About eligibility. To be an eligible homeowner, the following conditions must be met. Have an existing second unit with a full kitchen, washroom, and separate sleeping area already built. I just told you about that. And then live in the home that has the existing second unit. It cannot be completely rental property. You must be living there. It should be owner occupied house with an existing second unit. And then you must have a gross household income of $100,456 or less. If you exceed that income, you will not be eligible. So there is a ceiling on the maximum gross household income. If you don't have it, if you are over this, you cannot apply. Only if you are under it, you can apply. So these three major conditions: existing second unit, owner occupied property, and gross income up to $110,456. That's it. And you cannot sell that house for 10 years. It is not a flip house. Okay? And of course, under certain conditions, this loan would have to be returned. Number one, if you sell the unit before 10 years. But otherwise, never. You never have to return the loan. It is a forgivable loan. Forgivable loans expire after some time. But the government makes sure the funds are properly utilized. This is a forgivable loan. The term of loan. So what are the terms of getting this loan? Number one, the unit must be registered with the city. Now this calls for some serious modifications into your second unit. You understand that when you register your unit with the city, there are fire code compliances that must be met. That of all the windows, there should be one with a wider frame. In case of emergency, that window can be used as extraction point. Emergency situations, fire or caving in. Every legal basement should have two exit points. So if one is blocked, other could be utilized. The term of loan is 10 years. And it must comply with all municipal bylaws and inspections. And it must have a building permit and approved architectural drawings from the applicable municipality. So you will see there are costs associated when you receive $20,000 forgivable loan. Fifth, have an assessed home value that falls within 90th percentile of your municipality. So one table will discuss those established values by City of Brampton or the Peel region. You cannot have debt on your home that exceeds municipality property assessment value for your property. So this is a big. If you have debt on your property which exceeds the MPAC home assessed value, you are not eligible for this loan. Most of the houses in Ontario, and this is to my best knowledge, their assessment is not equivalent to the market value. So if the house is selling for $1 million, maybe its assessed value today is $450,000. And the property taxation is based on $450,000, not on the purchase or market value. But if you bought the house today at $800,000, which has an assessed value of $450,000, your total debt should be below $450,000. And that includes your debt, this loan. So 6 points, which are the kind of guiding principle of getting this loan. Must be registered to the city. Term of the loan is 10 years. Must comply with municipal bylaws. It must have a building permit and architectural drawings approved from the city. It must have assessed value that falls within 90% of the municipality values established. It cannot have any debt over the MPAC house value. You understand what I'm trying to tell you here? So keep these 6 points in mind. And those people say, hey, just come over. You must be living in the home and you must have a second unit. It doesn't work like that. Nothing can be bait and switch policy. It has to be clarified with proper disclaimers. So what are the requirements of getting that funding? We just spoke about that. So you must rent it in line with the CMHC market for the last 10 years. So this is where the guiding principle about rent comes in. Assessed home values must fall within 90th percentile of your municipality. We just saw that. Tenants' household income gross cannot be more than $61,642, or it has to be less than that. So there are two ranges, one for the homeowner and one for the tenant. If tenant's household income, the gross, is over $61,642, you cannot rent it to him. It has to be below that price range. Remedies, if the income increases later on, I have no clue at that time, but maybe if you have a question about that, shoot me an email or message me at 647-333-2273 and I will get you the right answer. Today, the tenant came in, his income was $60,000, but next year his income becomes $65,000. We'll have to find out the remedy to that. And if you remember, there is a ceiling for the homeowner's income as well. That was 110,000 something. We'll go back and check it out again. Another thing that you are required to do is undergo mandatory landlord and human rights training provided by the Region of Peel. You have to pass that exam, get certified, so you understand better. And total debt not to exceed the MPAC Municipal Property Assessment Corporation's value of the home. And that includes your mortgage, the forgivable loan amount, and any other mortgage or debts that are registered against your home, right? Let's move forward. So this table gives us the eligible home values. And assessment, MPAC assessment has to be 90% or below for all these home values. If you are buying a detached home, assessed value for that in Brampton will be 90% of $28,000. If MPAC value is more than that, you will not be eligible. Same for Caledon or Mississauga. So they have tabulated three main types of houses: detached, semi-detached, and townhouses. For other types, you can definitely give them a call and find out where the benchmark lies. So if you're buying a semi, your assessed value cannot be more than 90% of $543,000. And this, in this market, where is the house, a semi-detached one, for $543,000? I can't find one. If there is one, people pay $500 more to get that house. So I'll stop at this slide for a second. If you are making notes, you can take a note before I move forward. And this is the rental rates you can charge. And this table is for 2020. That was what is available because the program is suspended due to COVID. So therefore, I think they haven't updated it, or it still stays the same. For Brampton, for one bedroom, you cannot charge more than $1,019. Two bedrooms, you cannot charge more than $1,158. And three bedrooms, you cannot charge more than $1,230. And I think similar for Caledon, slightly higher for Mississauga by a few dollars, not much, $19 more, I guess, for one bedroom, and close to $15 more on two bedrooms, and $55 more for three bedrooms. But don't you think the houses are renting for way more? Would you like to take a loan of $20,000 and rent your property by below the market rental of $1,500, $1,800, $1,900? I guess you wouldn't. If you divide $20,000 over 10 years, I'm using my calculator. So 10 years means 120 months. So $20,000 loan to receive $1,019 for one bedroom. Well, let's go to two bedroom. That's what most of the basements are. $1,158. So $20,000 given to you for renovating your second unit, divided by 120 months, and every month you are getting close to $167 from the city. That means your effective rent technically goes $167 more. But why would you be renting a house for $1,158 when you can make $1,800 on that in the open market? So this is what you have to evaluate. Is this loan program for you? Does it suit your financial goals? Does it meet your financial obligations of paying heavy mortgage? So right now we understood that your property value should not be more than 90% of the established values right here for detached, for semi, for townhouses. Detached homes on an average in GTA have crossed $1 million now. When you go 90% of these, 90% of 828 would be $745,200. So that means your value to be eligible cannot be more than $745,200 for a detached home. Okay? But then the rentals. I'm going to stop here for a second, take a sip of my coffee. If you missed this webinar, you can always watch it online on YouTube. I will send out a link to everyone who registered. It is okay, people forget, but the webinars will not stop. It will continue on at its designated time. That's my promise to myself. I got so many inquiries when I talked about this webinar. Someone called me, and they live in Brampton, but he was in Saskatchewan at that time, bad weather, and they really wanted to get more information about it because 20,000 or 30,000 free amount is very lucrative. People get lured into that. And when that happens, wrong decisions are taken and you fall in a trap, then you cannot come out of it. So be very well educated. That's the key point here. Let's move on. So what does region of appeal do is they put a lien on your property, and the lien can only be at second position. It can never go beyond second position. But sometimes you may need refinancing. So when there is a bank at first position and appeal region at the second position, refinancing may be difficult. To cater to that problem, appeal region, under its discretionary power, can move to third position provided you are refinancing with the same bank. That's what I understood when I read the text. You may need clarification on this. Call appeal region and find out. Give them a call. Hey, I want more information about my second unit renovation program. So when you register a lien and if I want to refinance my property with the same lender, how will it work? Because when banks refinance, sometimes they give you second mortgage. Or if they terminate your previous mortgage, then you will incur a penalty on that. So most of the time, they open a line for you or they put a second position. So under certain conditions, appeal region will move to the next position if it has to. And this lien will automatically be removed after 10 years. After 120 months, there will not be any lien on the property. Only then this loan becomes a forgivable loan. Before that, if you do anything, you will have to return the amount due minus any component of the forgivable loan. They must have a formula where they see, okay, this person has used 5 years, so how much to forgive, how much to charge back. So mandatory training is here. In this mandatory training, you will learn about the Residential Tenancies Act. Trust me, not everyone understands how Residential Tenancies Act work, and we still see people doing errors when they list rental properties and ask for more than 2 months rent. Technically 1 month's rent, so 2 months means the first and last month. So first you give when you move in, but only last month deposit you give in when you give them security for the last month. But I see people also asking for more than 2 months rent, or people offering more than 2 months rent because of bad credit, or trying to create a trust level with the landlord when there are multiple offers on a rental unit. Yes, there are multiple offers in rentals too. It is a crazy market out here. And then you cannot charge key deposit on houses other than condominiums where there is a replacement cost. And even if there is a replacement cost, you cannot charge more than replacement cost. Check these things out with your agent or anyone you trust. The second training you would not like, you would have to go through is Ontario's human rights system. You need to learn every nitty-gritty of this. Okay, you cannot discriminate. There's no discrimination based on any parameters. There are protected classes which you must respect, and all those things will be taught to you in Ontario's human rights system. And then mental health and stigma. They will also train you on that. So the region of Peel has created an orientation video, and I would like to play that video after this. Once you have watched this orientation video, you will get an email with a link to an online quiz, 10 questions. It covers the material presented in the orientation video. Do not use anyone else to answer on your behalf, because you are supposed to know these things. You must complete the orientation session and quiz to be eligible for the program funding. So I spoke about the fact that you can get up to $20,000 and also go up to $30,000. So $30,000 you will get $30,000 if you rent your second unit to someone referred by the region of Peel or any municipality under it. As long as you rent it to them for 10 years, you will get $30,000, right? And we also talked about the gross income for the homeowners, $110,456, and the income from tenants was $61,642. So $110,456 from the homeowners and $61,642 or less. Now you see how this program has been structured. Coming back to the MPEC value and the debt, it also says that debt cannot be more than the MPEC assessed value. So now you have bought a house of $1 million with 20% down. You have $800,000 loan on it. And assessed value is, let's say, $460,000. You cannot qualify. You cannot qualify. I really do not know how many people will get benefited by this program. This needs to be seen. Maybe we'll have to analyze statistics someday, but assessed value is way less than the market value of the homes. Maybe for those properties where assessed value is like $400,000 and the outstanding mortgage is $100,000 or $50,000, it might work well there. Like some houses that are paid off, there's no debt on the property. The only debt would be $20,000 or $30,000 if you go by yourself or you go with Peel region referred tenants, right? Only then you will qualify for that without any problem. But if you are a new homeowner and you just bought your house a few years back, like from 2017, market has been crazily going upwards. The price have been ripping through the roof. So if in that case, I can tell you your assessed value will be way less than what debt you have on the property. But for older houses where people have not actually done much, but they have a second unit with sleeping area, with a kitchen, with a bathroom, and those people will easily qualify for this loan. I guess this is more geared toward those people. This is my personal opinion. I may be wrong, but this is what I think right now with you as I go through the presentation. So you must remember about all those things. And this is the presentation, the orientation video Region of Peel has given. I would like to share it with you right now. Please listen carefully.
Thank you for joining the My Home Second Unit Renovation Program and working with the Region of Peel. Through this program, not only will you bring your existing second unit up to the Ontario Building Code standard, but you will have a safe, affordable unit that contributes to the affordable housing stock in our community. Today, you will be completing the mandatory orientation session to understand your responsibilities as a landlord. These responsibilities are outlined in relevant legislation and codes that hold you legally accountable to comply with them. The orientation session will consist of 3 parts. We will begin with an overview of the Residential Tenancies Act, an overview of the Province of Ontario's human rights system, and end with an overview of mental health and stigma in the Region of Peel. Each of the 3 parts will focus on how you as a landlord will interact with these topics and the requirements and responsibilities you are beholden to as a landlord. After you complete the mandatory orientation session, you will receive an online quiz from the region to show what you have learned. Failure to complete this orientation session and the follow-up quiz will deem your application ineligible for program funding. Let's get started. The Residential Tenancies Act. What is the Residential Tenancies Act? The Residential Tenancies Act is a law that sets out the rights and responsibilities of landlords and tenants who rent residential properties. As a residential landlord, you must follow this act and govern yourself according to its rules. Who is covered by this act? Landlords and tenants of most must use for giving notice to end the tenancy. If the tenant does not move out after receiving the written notice, the landlord can file an application and ask the Landlord and Tenant Board to end the tenancy. A hearing will then be held to determine if the tenancy should be terminated. The landlord and tenant may both attend the hearing to explain their positions. Remember, the My Home Second Unit Renovation Program requires you to rent your unit at an affordable rate for 10 years. If you are considering ending a tenancy, please contact the program coordinator for primary contact and support. Now that we've covered the Residential Tenancies Act, it's time to move on to the Province of Ontario's Human Rights System. Ontario Human Rights Code. The Ontario Human Rights Code is a law in Ontario that gives all people equal rights and opportunities without discrimination in 5 social areas based on 17 protected grounds. One of the 5 protected social areas is housing. The 17 protected grounds include race, ancestry, place of origin, color, ethnic origin, citizenship, creed, age, disability, sexual orientation, sex or pregnancy, gender identity, gender expression, family status, marital status, receiving public assistance, and record of offenses. Under these grounds, all people in Ontario have equal rights and opportunities and are not allowed to be discriminated against for any of the above noted grounds in the 5 protected social areas. There are 3 main bodies that implement and interact with human rights in the province: the Ontario Human Rights Commission, the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario, and the Human Rights Legal Support Centre. Each serves a different function in the human rights system, but all seek to protect human rights in Ontario. Ontario Human Rights Commission. The Ontario Human Rights Commission is an arm's-length agency of the government and was established to administer the Ontario Human Rights Code. Its mandate under the Code is to prevent discrimination through public education and public policy and look into situations where discriminatory behavior exists. The Ontario Human Rights Commission also initiates or intervenes in legal cases, monitors cases, handles public inquiries, and takes part in community outreach and public education on human rights. Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario. The Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario is an administrative tribunal that hears and determines applications brought under the Human Rights Code. The tribunal hears complaints, considers evidence, and makes decisions. Human Rights Legal Support Centre. The Human Rights Legal Support Centre offers human rights legal services to individuals throughout Ontario who have experienced discrimination contrary to the Ontario Human Rights Code. The Centre provides human rights legal advice, assists with filing an application, and provides representation at the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario. Human rights and housing. Human rights issues can arise in many areas of housing, such as between tenants and between owners, operators, superintendents, and management. Human rights issues can also arise in housing policies, screening practices, and decision-making processes, repairs, common areas, internal and external service providers, as well as in evictions. Discrimination and harassment. The Ontario Human Rights Code and the 3 main bodies involved in implementing it all use and interpret the terms discrimination and harassment on a daily basis, as they are integral to human rights in Ontario. But what exactly is discrimination? Discrimination is when a person experiences negative treatment or is impacted based on one of the 17 grounds in the Code. Negative treatment could involve being excluded, having benefits withheld, or having burdens imposed. Discrimination can be direct and obvious, as well as subtle. For example, if racialized applicants are consistently told that apartments have already been rented, that is considered discrimination. Discrimination can also involve more than one ground that combines to create unique experiences of discrimination. For example, young Black men with mental health challenges face unique barriers when trying to access housing. To be considered discrimination, there is no requirement to determine intent. The effect is enough. For example, discrimination can involve organizational rules or policies that appear to be neutral but end up negatively impacting people based on one or more of the grounds in the code, such as a building manager requiring prospective tenants to provide an employment history before entering into a rental agreement. So what is harassment? Harassment is ongoing behavior, such as a comment to obtain expert advice where necessary, to maintain confidentiality of persons seeking accommodation, to take an active role in ensuring possible solutions are examined, and to deal with accommodation requests in a timely manner. As an accommodation provider, you are required to accommodate short of undue hardship. The factors considered when determining undue hardship include costs. Costs must be quantifiable and related to the accommodation. There are also ways to minimize costs. Look at things like creative design solutions, outside sources of funding, and health and safety. Factors that are not considered include inconvenience, resentment or hostility from others, and other tenants' preferences. Those who seek accommodation also have responsibilities. Their duties are as follows: to inform the accommodation provider of their needs where possible, to cooperate in obtaining necessary information, and to participate in discussions about solutions. Incorporated with the duty to accommodate is the responsibility to also accommodate code rights of others. It must be remembered that the rights of one person may conflict with the rights of others. There are resources you can consult, such as the Ontario Human Rights Council's Policy on Competing Rights. This document provides a step-by-step framework. Now that we have covered the Residential Tenancies Act and the Province of Ontario's human rights system, we will now conclude this orientation session with some important information on mental health and stigma. This section is not intended to make you as a landlord an expert in mental health issues. Rather, it is intended to provide education and understanding into mental health issues many people experience every day. Let's begin. Stigma. We should first understand what stigma is. Stigma is the combination of prejudice and discrimination. It is negative attitudes and negative responses that can make someone feel unwanted and shamed or stigmatized. What is prejudice? Prejudice is when someone has a negative attitude towards a person or group based on their presumed characteristics. This can include someone's gender, sexual orientation, culture, race, religion, age, or their mental health status. What is discrimination? This was covered previously, but remember, discrimination is an act of prejudice, such as denying someone housing because of someone's citizenship, disability, economic status, and many others. Remember that discrimination can be intentional or unintentional and is prohibited under the Ontario Human Rights Code. The combination of prejudice and discrimination creates stigma, which can have several negative side effects on an individual. It can seriously affect the well-being of those who experience it. It can affect people while they are ill, while they are in treatment, while they are healing, and even when a substance abuse or mental health problem is a distant memory. It can prevent many people from seeking the treatment they need, and it can profoundly change how stigmatized people feel about themselves and change the way others see them. In order to respond to mental health issues, we must first understand what we mean by mental health. Mental health is a term that encompasses our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It can affect how a person thinks, feels, and acts, and can even determine how they handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. It is important at every stage of someone's life, from childhood through adulthood. Over the course of someone's life, many people can and do experience mental health problems. Many factors contribute to this, and people from all walks of life experience mental health problems. In fact, 1 in 5 Canadians will experience a mental health issue during their lifetime. The extent of a mental health issue can vary greatly. For some, this could be seeking therapy for anxiety issues, and for others, it could be much more drastic, such as hospitalization for depression. But what they both have in common is they can affect anyone from any walk of life. People with mental health issues can often feel stigmatized by a variety of factors, such as how the media portrays people who struggle with mental health problems, and a lack of understanding about the nature and outcome of treating mental health issues. This can compound someone's mental health issues by socially isolating that person or leading that person to avoid seeking help. Access to adequate and appropriate housing can play a large role in someone's mental health. As a landlord working with the Region of Peel, you will not only be contributing to our affordable housing stock, but may be assisting someone who struggles with their mental health. Understanding and compassion is key to addressing anyone in the region of Peel, but is especially important for those with mental health issues. If you, your tenant, or someone you know is experiencing mental health issues, please consider contacting the Canadian Mental Health Association in Peel. This organization connects individuals to mental health information, education, and support services. Thank you for taking part in the Region of Peel's orientation session. We hope that it was informative and you now feel ready to take on your duties as a landlord. If you have any questions about the materials and information presented today, please do not hesitate to contact us and consult the informational materials provided to you. We now ask that you take the following short quiz to test the knowledge you learned today. It is 10 questions that focuses on what you learned. From the Region of Peel, we thank you for taking part in the My Home Second Unit Renovation Program and completing this orientation to become an informed and responsible landlord. If you have any questions, please contact the program coordinator for primary contact and support.
So I hope this was useful and you did learn a lot. If you missed some portion of this webinar, you're free to go back and play this out. A link to the YouTube video will be posted very soon in our common platform, or it may even be emailed out to you. So remember to watch it, because this program needs complete understanding before you get excited about $20,000 or $30,000. So people who are promoting it on TikTok videos and all those things are just luring you in. And then this doesn't go anywhere, causing frustration and lack of trust of professionals for not giving the right information. The program is very specific. It has some limits on your income, on tenants' income, on the home values, on how the whole system will play out, and of course, taking the mandatory training that I just played. So I wish you luck. If there is any question, feel free to ask me. Before I leave, I would like to share some very interesting numbers from Peel Region website, and let me check that out if I did not. Yeah, it still is here. I can see the frame here, but where is this? Just bear with me one more second. Let me find this video that I want to share. Yes, here it is. If you look at this, and this shows change in Peel region, this is very important. Between 2011 and 2016, Peel's population grew by 6.5%, and a significant part of this growth was driven by immigration. Immigration is kind of on hold these days. Well, it needs to be seen how the numbers will play out. Between 2021 and 2016, the number of households living with low income grew by 8%. So sad. At the same time, the residential vacancy rate fell down to 1%, and the healthy rate is 3%. It's not a good sign, because when it goes low, there are multiple offers for a unit that is up for rental. Average market rents increased by 3%. This is in 2016, but today they are way more. Like a 2-bedroom basement apartment is going anywhere from $1,800 to $2,000 in the Brampton and Mississauga or Caledon. The resale price here are not indicative of today's market. They are way up, 26.9%, I guess, more or less, and 29% more from the last month. So these numbers, they basically tell you what's going on. So this is something to address, the lowest vacancy rate, so more and more people can have rental units. So I really hope you enjoyed. Please send me your feedback. Tell me how this webinar was, and that will help me improve my next webinar. The next webinar that I'm hosting is for the first-time home buyers. It will be on 24th of April at 10 a.m. So feel free to be there. Thank you very much. Good day to you. Bye-bye.